right, so we're gonna go to question number three.
Hmm.
What is your favorite motorcycle technology from the last 50 years?
Uh, Hand grip warmers.
Are you serious? Hand grip warmers.
Uh,
Not traction control, not wheelie control, not like ABS, hand grip warmers.
yep, hand
Okay.
grip. That's the best thing that's ever happened to motorcycles. That's by head and shoulders above it. Everything else, all those other things are cool. They're using the technology. They use electronics. We've got all kinds of sensors and 5 or 10 miles of wire and all kinds of little black boxes on the motorcycle these days. But hand warmers are my top pick. That's very at the very very top of my list.
When I wrote that question, I never would have thought in a million years that was what you're gonna say. I
Well,
I never would have thought maybe a slipper clutch, but then you're always talking about blipping the throttle and making good shifts, and you built the machine and how to do good shifts and how to like work the controls. And I've seen this technology you've come up with, and I'm like, all right, well maybe you wouldn't say that, but hand warmers, okay.
hand
So
warmers.
hand
Yeah.
hand
Now, having said that, the the bikes we used at school, the S1000 double R BMW, was the first on to come out with a sophisticated electronics system that did include a very good traction control component and also a very excellent ABS. So and lean angle sensors and all kinds of things that are integrated within it. And we really enjoyed that because at the schools we used 600cc Kawasaki's for 30 years at school. And as soon as we changed over to the S1000, a bike with double the horsepower of any 600 we ever had, our accident rate actually went down by 40%, and it stayed there for 7 years.
wow.
So I do appreciate the electronics very, very much. But you asked me, and that's my personal thing is hand warmers.
Okay. Well, we kind of almost answered question number four, but we'll go into it anyway. But that was kind of funny how that actually worked out. So,
Uh-huh.
question number four with ABS, traction control, wheelie control, all that new technology, have you seen an improvement in your student lap times? And do you think the new motorcycle technology helps the skill of the rider, or does it create a technological liability? That's question number
Uh,
four.
we've actually, aside from the accident crash statistics at the school, which were very low to begin with, but now they're really awesome. But at any rate, the, these functions, these electronic functions, are really really good because my thought on them after we saw what happened in the first year and how good it was and how many fewer people were actually getting themselves into trouble with the bikes. I realized that all those electronics create a kind of a soft buffer in between the things that normally light a rider up, in the sense of light them up. I mean, put them into slight or mild panic mode, or even deep panic mode, and so it softens the electronics soften the impact of little slips or slides, or getting into the brake a little too hard, and that type of thing, and it's not as much of a jolt, so to speak, to the rider as it has been in the past. And I think that's just gives us just enough time to start to get a little bit more confidence in the bike and not be so gun shy of small errors. Not that you shouldn't be. You should be. You don't want to make the errors. That's true. But when a rider's riding around and they're in fear all the time that something's going to happen, and and happen suddenly, then it has a big impact on anybody. So that is what I see. That is what I see. And the electronics that provided this little bit of a buffer to keep riders just a little bit more in tune and able to stay in present time without
Right.
being scared.
Yeah, I was gonna use the word buffer too, but you just used it. Yeah, I totally can see that. I know that if I had If I had ABS, if my wife had ABS, she wouldn't have broke her arm. She panicked and slammed on the brakes real quick, and then went over the top of the bike and broke her elbow. But I mean, she was braking in a straight line and then made a little quick turn at the end, and I was behind her when I saw it happen. And I know that, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter to me too much because I brake okay. I don't do everything great, but there's some things I do okay. Throttle control is okay, braking's okay. I mean, I'm not, the world's greatest motorcycle rider, but I'm alive. So here I am. So, I mean, I got videos of me riding and I'm still here. So I must be doing more right than wrong. And I can definitely see how the technology would help certain riders that would have inhibitions to begin with, like my
Well,
wife.
I'll tell you a little anecdotal story. We back in the '90s, we did Harley only schools all around the world, all around the country, rather. And one guy came out, and he was the mileage king. He had over 1 million motorcycle miles under his belt, and he had
Wow.
been riding for 26 years, and he rides all the time. And the guy at the end of the first school day of our level one school, he said, I thought I had 26 years of experience, but I found out that I really had 1 year of experience 26 times.
Jeez.
And that was the best comment that I've ever heard, and a really good insight into how riders can for sure get away with not hurting themselves, not crashing for years and years and years, and hundreds of thousands of miles, and in this guy's case, even 1 million miles. And he had had a couple of minor, very minor low sides on the bike. So I think this is real the true value of understanding what a motorcycle should do, how it does it, what goes right when you get it right, what goes wrong when you get it wrong, and that's really kind of been my focus since I started coaching riders 41 years ago.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get it. And yeah, that makes total sense. I felt like that after your clinic. Um, After the clinic, and when Kobe showed me that I was doing counter steering wrong, and I was like, well, of course I know counter steering. Everybody knows counter steering. I've been riding a bicycle since I was like 5. Of course I know how this thing works. Nope. Kobe got me straightened out, and I must have had a misunderstanding somewhere, and I didn't know where it was. And
Mm-hmm.
then, and it really, to my discredit, to me as a human, it really shocked my core. I mean, it jolted me like personal. I mean, it kicked me in the nuts. I forgot almost how to shift afterwards. It really messed me up. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, how am I even on a bike? Why am I even here? Like, it caused so much doubt. And then once I got it squared away, though, the confidence came immediately right back, and then more.
That's great.
And then
Well,
yeah, and then I
that's
went from confident to certainty, like, okay, I know for sure how counter steering works.
oh, brilliant. Okay, well, that's great. That's a perfect result, and I'm really happy you got it from that drill that we do at school. We do that drill with everybody at school to make sure that they have the same feeling and the same result that you just got, that you just explained. So I'm very happy with that drill.
Me too. I still do it in parking lots when I have time, or before I ride. Seriously, I'll go to an empty parking lot and make sure I have control. I can, counter steer right and left on command, and get used to it, and know that I can do it when I need to do it, and have that certainty that, hey, I can do this when I need to do it. And based on it's amazing like how you can read material, you can look up the words like you asked us to in the first twist, and you think you got it, but again, it's really hard to watch yourself ride. And uh, Kobe was like, I got next time I see him, I got to give him a huge high five and thank you, because he probably saved my life. What I mean, to be able to flick the bike or do anything I need to do on a command is such uh, an assurance that you can actually ride better.
Yes, that's the magic of coaching right there, Dan. Uh, that's our school is built on it. People have asked me, why is your school so successful? You know, why are you in 18 countries this year and number one school in every country you go to? And I went, there are two formulas for success in this game the way I see it, and they have excellent coaches. And the second one is to have the very best coaches in the world, and that's the formula for success.
Okay, that makes sense because I can tell you firsthand that having Kobe was very gentle. He didn't make me feel like an idiot, even though I made myself feel like an idiot, but that's my own mental junk I have to overcome. But he made me feel very, it was very reassuring and positive. And when I did something right, he gave me the assurance that that was a good job. Now do it better and keep going. And it was excellent coaching. And I can tell you from experience that I got addicted to it. It's like I can't wait. I want to go. As soon as I get my track bike, I'm gonna go the streets of Willow down south, and we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. But as soon
Okay,
as yeah, got to get some things handled first. So
look forward to it.
yeah, me too. All right, so we're on to question number 5 now.
Okay.
In some other countries, riders are required to start on smaller CC motorcycles before transitioning to larger CC bikes. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that progression of having a small bike, usually something like a 250 single or a scooter or something like that. And then after you have a certain amount of time on that, you can graduate up to another one. Or I'm not exactly sure of all the details on how different countries run that thing, but
Right.
uh, in some countries, the rider tests are very, very, very thorough. Japan is one of them. If you want to have a big bike in Japan, well, they make you lay the thing over on its side and show them that you can pick it up. I mean it's that thorough. But I know England and Australia have big white plates that have a big red L on them for learner, and I think it's a good program. I think it's a really good program. I also think that the interim training, once you finish the training that gets you your license in a state like California, that the next step up of training is, say, maybe you could call level 2 training, where it's got more reality to it, more hands-on in situations, um, traffic, and that kind of thing. And I know in England that they do have programs where mentors take riders out. They're much more sophisticated over there than we are here as far as that goes. And I think that's kind of what's missing right now, because the learner, the license test, most of them, the maximum speed is 12 miles an hour. That doesn't really prepare anybody for real world riding. So does a smaller bike give the person less chance of crashing? And I don't think so. Actually, I don't really think so. You can make any mistake on any motorcycle. The problems of riding them are the problems of riding them, whether it's a big bike or a small bike. And so, while I agree with it, I don't think it's the and it's the thing that makes those programs better. I don't completely agree with it, although I don't disagree with it either.
Okay. The only reason I would, well, there's a couple things. The safety, the first, getting your license test in California, in my opinion, teaches a few bad habits. That's part of the reason why my wife crashed because they kept trying to tell her to grab, four finger braking, which is okay for some bikes, but I don't think it's okay for all bikes. And then on her bike had really good brakes, and then she just locked them up. It might have happened if she did one finger. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, not her on me, but there's a couple things that I think that the riding course and the first one doesn't address. And I think what you're talking about, I didn't do the second one because I didn't like the first one as much. I just got my license and started reading twist books, and then like, screw the California safety course. I'll just figure this out on my own.
I
And
agree.
and
I
then
agree.
yeah,
I don't think the motorcycle safety foundation course, which was in use in America since the 1970s, I think it's pretty thin. It's not comprehensive enough.
Right.
Um, it's absolutely better than nothing for sure.
For sure. I can agree
But
to that.
I came from a time when there was no training of any kind. So
Right.
and most of my contemporaries at that time, same thing. Those things didn't exist back then, and most of us made it through. Now, maybe the spirit of writing was even stronger back then, and I think it is true because the millennials, so to speak, or so-called millennials, have very little interest in riding motorcycles. They've got other interests in life, and which is too bad, of course, because they're really missing a huge part of it. But that's
Interesting.
that's the way it is, and I don't know what's going to change that. But
Yeah.
yes, right. Um,
Huh.
yeah,
That's yeah, it's a very interesting that you brought up the millennials because a lot of my YouTubers are actually millennials, and I make I have an R3, so a lot of my videos are geared toward beginning riders, and it is true. I guess I never looked at the statistics. You would know more than I would on how the state of the current motorcycle industry is in, and if there's new growth or not, or if it's just all older riders riding, and then the younger generation's not in getting involved. But I never looked at it like that.
it's true. Very difficult to get these younger people on motorcycles. It's just not real to them for some reason or another. And for us old timers, that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Who wouldn't want to have a motorcycle and be able to go through space and in really great control of your speed and your ability to maneuver and so on. It doesn't make any sense. It would be like saying, to me, it would be like saying, in the middle of 1800s, somebody didn't want to have a horse.
Yeah, I just want
They'd
to
rather,
walk
they,
everywhere I go. I don't want to have a horse.
yeah,
Yeah,
they'd walk everywhere they go. But
yeah,
to me, it's that nonsensical to me. But there it is. That's the way it is.
that's interesting. Yeah, maybe something can change that statistic. I don't know. I don't know. It just who knows. It's something that I, I don't know how the I don't know where the root I don't even know where the root of it's at. Is it just 'cause they don't just want to play computers? Or I don't know, but that's kind of
Well,
strange.
if you figure it out, the motorcycle industry is desperate for the answer. I can assure you of that.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely work on it because I have millennials that watch my stuff, and I'll see if I can get some dialogue going with them and figure out why they don't want to get on a bike.
Uh, Good. I hope you can.
Me too.